we'd like to welcome Marilyn McCaulay. We have the opportunity to hear what Marilyn has to say. I have a few questions so that you can all get to know her. And the first question I have is, Marilyn, what is your connection with mitochondrial disease?
Well, in 1982, my daughter Megan died of a mitochondrial disease. And then in 1984, my daughter Sarah died of the same mitochondrial disease.
So very personal. It's a very personal
Yes,
connection to this disease. And back in
for
'82,
sure.
that's a long time ago. And so how has that what was the diagnostic journey for you all those years ago? How did that work for you to be able to get diagnosis?
Well, it was very difficult at the time. Most doctors had never heard of a mitochondrial disease in the 80s. Certainly, my family had never heard of mitochondrial diseases. And there were no testing sites in Canada, and many things were diagnosed. And finally, they came up with perhaps it was a mitochondrial disease. And the muscle biopsy had to be sent off to the United States. And we actually didn't find out what Megan died of until weeks after she died. So it was difficult because we didn't know what we were dealing with.
Yeah, and it's that the not knowing is a terrible place to be, and which is certainly has changed. And something that you've been involved with is in that awareness and that diagnostic piece. I understand that you were integral to connecting MitoCanada with Dr. Anna Andresia, and eventually MitoNet was formed through those connections. Can you tell us a little bit about how this has all unfolded?
Sure. Well, many years after my daughters died, one of my sons was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And at that time, it was coming out in the research that bipolar disorder was a mitochondrial disease. So I was following the research, and I found a webinar that Dr. Anna Andreasa from the University of Toronto had done for the International Bipolar Foundation. So I contacted the International Bipolar Foundation because I had missed the webinar, and they gave me Anna's email address. Anna and her team were working on looking at mitochondrial function for bipolar biomarkers. So I contacted her, and she responded within an hour and said she would like to meet my family. So she came to our hometown in Eastern Ontario to meet us and answered all of our questions. We heard about her research. We were very excited about her research. And we decided to join in her research. And I knew of another family also that had lost children to mitochondrial diseases and had bipolar, so I got them involved. And I also called up the executive director at MitoCanada and set up a meeting between MitoCanada and Anna and her researchers. And the meeting was in Toronto. And when we attended that meeting, everyone was very excited about helping with the research. And Anna is a very connector type person, and she and the people from MitoCanada went on to bring together the healthcare providers, the patients, the families, and the researchers in Canada's first national conference on mitochondrial diseases, and they set up MitoNet in 2017. And the mission of MitoNet is to transform our understanding of mitochondrial function in human health.
Okay. Well, I certainly can understand where Blaine Blaine has told me that you have a strong passion for being a strong patient advocate and involved with being involved in this whole process. Can you describe the role and the value patients play in helping advance research?
Yeah, patients live with these, and their families live with these chronic diseases 24/7. So they know a lot about the diseases. They know about the issues and concerns and daily struggles that they would like research to address. Family and patients make great advocates. They educate the public, and they're wonderful fundraisers. And most families are very passionate about trying to find solutions that will make the loved one's life easier.
So I've been told that you are part of the Patient Family Advisory Committee with MitoCanada. And as an advocate, why is it important to you and has it meant to have a voice to help shape patient engagement?
Yes. First of all, I'm very honored to be part of the Patient and Family Advisory Committee. I just finished working on a 3-year co-design project, so I do bring that experience to the table. And having patients and families involved ensures that the research and funding priorities are relevant to the everyday struggles and concerns and needs of the families.
So part of being that advocate, I believe that there's the annual Mitochondrial Disease Conference is co-hosted by MitoCanada and MitoNet, has been integral to connect the research, the clinical, patient, and industrial communities. Can you tell the viewer the importance of bringing the mitochondrial community together for conferences? What is the value there?
Oh, wow. The connecting all the players together is inspirational and can have a huge ripple effect. When the scientists come together to share their work, their knowledge grows, they can build on each other's work. The families see the research, they get very excited about it, they're very hopeful about the scientific work. And it brings families together with other families, and they feel less alone in their struggles with the everyday challenges. And it gives a chance for the families to support each other and to brainstorm ways to deal with some of the everyday things they deal with.
And that connection is important, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, being able to create advocacy and then also creating an actual real connection to people that are also struggling also helps give you that you're not alone.
Right.
Go ahead.
And I think one of the scientists told me that it gave a lot of meaning to her work to see families who were dealing with the disease.
Yeah.
And I was very touched by that.
Well, when you work in a clinical environment, I'm sure it's very academic. It's a very
Right.
cerebral piece of work, and then to see the actual families that get affected, that gives meaning, that gives purpose, and that's what people want. People want to be able to have the opportunities to connect, and so the work with doing these events is important. So thank you very much. So my next question is that Team Mito will be out running for those who can't and attempting this new Guinness World Record to raise awareness and funds for mitochondrial disease. What words of inspiration do you have to the people watching this show right now and the importance of the dollars needed to support MitoCanada's mission?
Well, the word that comes to mind for me is hope. One of the things that families do is they carry the hope for the patient when the patient is unable to do it. And coming together with the Mito community can really nurture that hope. And the extended family and friends donating also really nurtures that hope. And every dollar brings us closer to new treatments and improves the quality of life for these families and patients.
Well, we certainly appreciate all the efforts that you've made and appreciate you being able to share your own personal story and your connection to Mito. I think it gives me, as I was hearing your story, an opportunity to connect with you because it is so personal, and being a strong advocate for those that have struggled, and you've been there. So thank you so much for that opportunity to share your story, and we look forward to to being able to, when we get the opportunity to get together as we can rub shoulders again, we look forward to that, and to see your face would be wonderful in that. So thank you very much for your time today.
You're very welcome. It was my pleasure.